It's finally time for another portfolio update. Now, it has been about a month and a half since I last made one of these, and that's just because life got busy. We've had the holidays and I had different videos that needed to come out. But if you want to make sure you get live notifications every single time I buy or sell any position in my portfolio, and you want weekly portfolio updates, consider joining the Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description below. So I'll be sharing exactly what's in my portfolio and what changes I've made since the last update, and that includes buying 2 new positions and selling 1. So let's start with the total portfolio value. Right now you can see that I have £14,658.86 invested into this account. That is the money that I have put into this portfolio. But you can see that the total amount is actually £18,328.17, which means I have had a return of £3,669.31, which is the equivalent to 25.03% return, which is pretty good going. If we look back to last month and we compare that, and I'll put it on the screen now, last month I had invested £14,361.33p. So in about a month and a half, I have added to this portfolio. I wouldn't say I've added significantly, about £300, but that's just because, busy season, holidays coming up, different life events that I had. So I've kind of managed my own money and had a bit of a risk strategy just over this December month. Moving forward, I will be looking to add more than that each month, but you can just add what you can really. However, last time I made one of these videos, my percentage return since having the account open was 21.35%. It is now 25.03%, so clearly it has had a little bit of a better time. If you didn't know, I opened this account just earlier this year around March 2023, so it hasn't been opened all that long. And just looking at this over a 1 month time period, you can see that this portfolio has been heavily volatile. It really has been all over the place, with massive swings in the downward direction like this, but also massive swings in the upward direction, as you can see a little jump here. When you have a portfolio like I have, and I'll share exactly which positions I have in just a minute, you do expect these massive volatile swings upwards and downwards, because I have mainly highly volatile growth stocks in here, so we do expect this. I'm just going to max my portfolio out here now, so you can see that there's been times in this portfolio where I've been up nearly 40%. You can see here 37.31, 31, basically 32, but there's also been times where it has been the complete opposite. Still been returning positive returns, 10.95, but maybe underperforming the index during those times. But actually, I really enjoyed those times because I was very convicted in the stocks that I was buying, and it just meant buying more for a reduced price. So I will share the changes that I've made to the portfolio since last time in just a minute, but let's just quickly have a look at what Tesla and Palantir have been doing since the last update, because as you'll know, those 2 are my largest positions in this portfolio. We'll start with Tesla just because that is already on the screen. Over the last 1 month, Tesla is up by 10.74%. which means the total return that Tesla has given me, if I were to sell out of the position completely right now, which I'm not going to do, would be 23.55%. If I look back to the last update, that number only came out at 5.27%. So in a month and a half, Tesla stock has completely changed its performance. So why has that happened? Well, there's been a few really big reasons as to why people are probably buying more Tesla now, and actually they're not selling as much, which of course, demand versus supply is what moves the stock market. So just in the last month and a half or so, we've had the Cybertruck delivery event. That event was a really anticipated event. Lots of people were waiting on that. It's finally happened. The first Cybertrucks have gone out to consumers. During that event, we got loads of information about the different specs, the pricing, and all stuff like that, which has helped give investors that clarification that they needed. And of course, Wall Street analysts and fund owners, they all got more information, and then they could use that information to base their investing decisions on. But also, aside from just the actual Cybertruck delivery event, we had Elon Musk and we had the head of design and some other Tesla members having interviews. These interviews were really important because that was a time that we got more information. And actually, in one of those interviews with the head of design at Tesla, Franz, I forgot his last name, but he actually confirmed that the demand for Cybertruck really was as we were thinking it was. Before that point, we only really knew the demand based on like public trackers and things like that. We didn't actually have it from Tesla themselves. But it has now been confirmed that indeed Tesla Cybertruck demand is really, really strong. We've also had an update on the bot, the Tesla bot, Optimus. We've had a video that has been released a little while ago now. I made a video on the channel about it, which I'll link somewhere on the screen up here or up here. Can never remember which way round. But that gave us insight into how quickly Tesla bot is really progressing. It is getting so much, it's so significantly better than what it was this time last year when it was first announced. Even this time last month, I imagine. It's coming on a long way, and it really gives us an idea of what this could be like in the future. And I'm not going to get carried away in this video talking about how it's going to change different industries and the demand for it and all things like that, because I covered it in the video that I've just mentioned. Definitely watch that if you have no idea what I'm speaking about. But again, that has given investors, retail and institutional investors, clarification into the idea that actually this is going to become a thing at some point and what it could really mean. We've had more information from Elon during an interview about the mass affordable sub 25k, who really knows, vehicle. They are going to start working on that. That is going to be absolutely massive, because that is their way to get Tesla vehicles out to everyone. A mass affordable vehicle. That is when the demand is going to seriously go crazy, and they actually have a chance of meeting their target on how many vehicles they want to be delivered by 2030. That number that they've anticipated, it seems crazy, but actually if they plan in a mass affordable car, it could really be possible. And that then leads on to the robo-taxi fleet, autonomous driving, all these good things, all these massive aligned catalysts that I've spoken about before. Gigafactory. We've had lots of information about Tesla Gigafactories, a new one, the latest being India. And then alongside that as well, we've just got the macro, which is interest rates are anticipated to start coming down in 2024, which of course has a knock-on effect to many companies, Tesla included. It's actually quite the opposite for Palantir. Last time I gave an update, Palantir was up by 61.38% for me. That's since opening the account. If I look right now at my Palantir position, it's up 35.21%. So that's still an absolutely phenomenal return, but it is vastly different in such a short space of time. And if you look on the screen now, you'll see that actually over the last 1 month, according to this platform that I'm using, Trading212. By the way, if you want a free share worth up to £100 when you open a Trading212 account, whether it's an ISA account or a general investing account, you can get that using my link. I'll leave it in the description below. But you can see actually over the last 1 month, Palantir stock has come down. It's not gone up like we were getting used to. Why is that? Well, again, a variety of different reasons. I think end of tax year for the US people, taking profit makes a lot of sense when it's had such a crazy year. Fund managers and retail investors taking some money off the table, maybe reallocating that money into other positions. It all makes a lot of sense. And also, I think people are getting a little bit bored now. We've had a lot of things in such a short space of time with Palantir that it's been one after the other, and we're continuously used to seeing that stock price go up and up and up and lots of momentum. The end of the year has been a little bit more quiet. There's not been that many aligned catalysts. The next ones coming up are, of course, earnings happening early next year, the Titan contract that was pushed, S&P 500 inclusion, maybe sometime next year. Again, not a lot happening right now. We are still having contracts, the latest from a Spanish insurance company. I'll put that on the screen here. But yeah, people may be getting a little bit bored, selling out of the position, trying to look for the next new hot stock maybe. Okay, so I'm going to share my allocation in just a minute across this portfolio and talk about what I plan to do moving forward. But let me just share with you the 2 new positions that I've added. Now, the first one you may have already seen. I made a whole video about this and I'll link it on the screen now. But I wanted exposure to the gene editing genomics sector. I think it's a sector that is really going to start expanding in the upcoming years. Of course, I don't know that. This is just my own research, based on my own research. But I wanted a stock that gave me exposure to that. I couldn't get an ETF. Won't go into details as to why. Watch that video. But I have decided to add Intellia Therapeutics. Ticker symbol NTLA. Again, I won't go into crazy details as to why I picked this position over different options. I think there are many fantastic stocks out there right now that will give you exposure to this industry if you're looking for that. I don't think this is the only one. I don't think this is particularly the the obvious best. I think we're in very early days, and maybe this will shift over time, but based on my research, I decided to add this because I see a lot of positives in this company. Again, won't continue this discussion because I'll be here all day. But what you can see is actually I've started a very, very small position. I only have just under 6.5 shares, which is tiny. It's not a large position right now, but I plan to add to it over time. This is one that I don't think is going to take off just randomly, and I have to have, my full position in it by next month. I think this is going to be a very slow grower. I think that this sector is going to expand over the next few years, and I just want to start getting myself in as early as possible. So I first added this position on the 12th of December, and I'm not sure how I did this. It wasn't that intentional, I promise, but I added here. I added on this dip. Again, I guess it was just luck because it wasn't intentional, but since then, this position has done very, very well, and actually I'm up by 7.73%. The most recent position that I've added to my portfolio is Nvidia. Now, I started adding this on the 22nd of December, and I let my Patreon members know exactly why I was adding it, when I was adding it, and what I was adding as I was adding. So again, if you want those notifications, please join the Patreon because these YouTube videos are always a little bit delayed. Obviously, Nvidia is one of those Magnificent Seven companies, a massive, massive company. Of course, a lot of good things going on here, and I will make a separate video as to why I added Nvidia and why actually I don't think that it is particularly expensive, even though the stock price is at all-time highs. If you want that video, let me know in the comments. Again, currently quite a small position, and I will continue to add to this one. This one to me is a little bit more of a must add sooner than Intelia, just because I think 2024 is going to be a massive year for AI stocks, especially the semiconductor and chip stocks like Nvidia. So there's a little bit more of a time pressure to get more shares of this one. But again, I will just add what I can when I can. So with that said, let's just now quickly look at my portfolio allocation. I do need to do a little bit of juggling with this. I have some plans as to what I want this to look like. But currently I have 9 investments. I did have 8 last time and I've added 2, which means I have removed a position. And the position that I've removed is an ETF VHYL, Vanguard's High Dividend Yield ETF. And I put that money into other positions, including my 2 new ones. I've also added some Tesla, Palantir and Amazon since the last update too. But I do also have some more money from that sale. I made a profit on it, just sitting in this account in cash that I will be looking to add in the next few days. Because Tesla has been doing particularly well recently, my percentage allocation is currently at 54%, whereas last time it was around 46%. 54% is pretty high, like clearly that's over half the entire portfolio. I still want Tesla to be my largest position. That is not changing. And in fact, all the time whilst I think Tesla is a good buy-in opportunity, I will continue to add. At some point though, I plan to bring that down ever so slightly. I want it sitting probably at around more 40%. So clearly I'm quite overexposed at the moment, but I'm absolutely fine with that. This is long term. I don't need to be cutting that right now. Actually, I want to be adding Tesla right now. Palantir is currently 30.40% of my entire portfolio. Last time it was 36%. Again, that's just because it hasn't been doing as well, which brings my allocation down. But I have actually been adding Palantir since last time, like I have with Tesla, Amazon, and my 2 new positions. Amazon currently 5.56%, and you can see the rest here. So what am I doing moving forward? Well, I am going to be keeping Tesla as my largest. That's a given. But I will be making it slightly less than what it currently is over time. Palantir, my second largest, very happy with that. I do want more exposure to Amazon, Nvidia, and Intelia. And that's exactly what I'm going to be working towards, adding more into those companies to increase my exposure. However, I will be looking at it more as an overview. Like if I see one particular stock, let's say it's Tesla, at a very good price, I will be adding to that and not being too concerned with the allocation at this stage, but I'm keeping my eye on it. Let me know in the comments below what you have in your portfolio right now and what your plans are for your portfolio moving into 2024. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll be back with another very shortly.